This year, on May 14th, the city manager informed the city council that the staff would be withdrawing the Envision Oak Point plan. City manager Bruce Glasscock said, "I don't know that we can address all the concerns which are out there floating around that are unresolvable, but we'll bring back something." For all of you who don't know what the Envision Oak Point plan is, I'll give you a quick summary. East Plano has 730 acres of land. This land is off of Jupiter, East Spring Creek, Parker, and K Avenue. Levant Farms sits on this land. This area is called Oak Point. The land is next to Collin College Spring Creek campus, 2 apartment complexes, a mobile home park, the Plano Event Center, Shawnee Park, and 3 housing developments. So far, no one has come forward asking to develop the land, and personally, I don't have a problem with this. It's nice to see horses and cows in Plano. It reminds people of Plano's roots and that they're still in Texas. We also need farms to grow food. Plus, cows, horses, and chickens have to live somewhere, right? The Levant cows give us milk and don't increase traffic. They also don't need schools and don't increase population. Crops also help the environment. They take in CO2 and put out oxygen. The mayor, however, doesn't seem to care about farms. He kicked out cows to make way for the Legacy West development. And, in keeping with that theme, the planning department's bureaucrats thought it would be a fantastic idea to create a plan for the Oak Point area. If any of you would like to check the plan out for yourselves, you can go to www.envisionoakpoint.com. Link in the description below. The plan states, it is a 30-year vision for the area, guiding short, mid, and long-term change. While this plan broadly addresses future development patterns in Oak Point, it is not intended to serve as a zoning action, nor does it dictate the form or quantity of development that would occur in the area. Rather, it is a general policy intended to shape change that enhances the community. That statement alone shows some of the many problems with this plan. This plan is trying to look 30 years into the future. Unless the people who wrote this plan have a crystal ball, no one's going to know what will happen in 30 years. 30 years ago, Plano was mostly farmland. People didn't know that Plano would grow into a city of almost 300,000 people. The Oak Point estates were built only 18 years ago. The big box and strip mall developments along Spring Creek were built around the same time. Today, those shops are mostly empty. In 2000, 18 years ago, the builder probably didn't think of this. If he did, the strip mall would have never been built. The other problem with the plan can be found when it says, while this plan broadly addresses future development patterns in Oak Point, it is not intended to serve as a zoning action, nor does it dictate the form or quantity of development that would occur in the area. So, let me get this straight. The plan won't change the zoning, but addresses future development. Is it just me, or does that not make sense? Continuing on to page 8, you will see a box titled Land Use plus Design Guiding Principles. Let me just say that again. Land use and design guiding principles. But the plan is not going to dictate zoning. But there's more. Identify a location for a future station area to maximize benefits of transit-oriented development. So, the town wants to build a train or a bus station. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but won't that require a zoning change? The next bullet point is a real head-turner. Create visually interesting neighborhoods with a ranging of building types and a mix of uses. So the city wants to create a mixed-use development, which means apartments. But they don't want to dictate the type of development that is built. All who are confused, raise your hands. The last bullet point in that box says, support a walkable neighborhood pattern with buildings close to the street and inviting places to walk. Yeah, let's walk when it's 100 degrees and get heat stroke, everyone. Let's all just have a grand old time out there. If you read on, you'll see a picture of a single family and townhomes that are very close together. In case you don't believe the picture, the description under it says, a mix of townhomes, cottage housing, and single-family detached homes on small lots. In other words, let's cram everyone together like sardines. So let's summarize what we've just gathered from the plan so far. The area currently has no developer interested in building in the area. The city made a plan with guidelines anyway, but don't want to dictate what is actually built. And some on the city council wonder why people were against this plan. I think it's fairly obvious why this plan was disliked. But these are politicians, so I'll explain it in words even they can understand. The plan was full of contradictions. One clear example is when it says it will not dictate what will be built, but it has a list of things that the city wants to see built. The plan forecasts future population growth, but the city really has no idea if people will continue to move here 30 years from now or 2 years from now. If the city really wants something to be built in that area that the majority of residents will like, I suggest retirement community like Frisco Lakes. Frisco Lakes is a beautiful community for seniors. It has one-story single-family homes. Prices start at under $250,000. The community has a gym, 3 pools, a golf course, library, 2 clubhouses, pickleball courts, and many other sports. Residents in these types of communities are retired, so rush hour traffic won't increase. Children can't live there, so schools won't be needed. I know many people who have left Plano to move to Frisco Lakes. Heck, I would move to a place like that when I retire, even though it's far away from now. Another thing we could do is have Habitat for Humanity build some nice single-family homes. This would help more low-income families own a home in Plano. According to the CEO of Habitat, their research shows home ownership has a wonderful impact on people. Children grow up with better jobs, more stability, better education, and in better health. Notice, however, the research says home ownership. It doesn't say anything about apartments. These 2 ideas cost the city of Plano nothing. They will also bring back retail businesses to the area. The people who live there will need retail. These ideas also take care of needs we currently have, and not ones that some bureaucrat thinks that we'll have in 30 years from now. Hopefully, the current Oak Point plan stays dead, and the land stays as a farm or one of the 2 ideas I mentioned. The best, in my opinion, would be if a third of the land stayed as a farm, a third becomes an adult community, and a third is made into a habitat community. But that's just my opinion. This is Plano's Political Pup, signing off.